All right. So thank you, God, for bringing us together. We do this one more time. We're going to look at your word, one word at a time, one verse at a time, one chapter at a time until we die, and then we'll know what you're talking about. Because right now we don't. And that's why we get together, study, look and help and get close to you, get close to each other, and get ourselves. And we thank you. We love you. For everything. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
So let me share the screen here
Amen.
and back to Steve's little query about descendants and where we're all from. And they came out of the ark, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, and Japheth and the boys. They went, the Caucasians, Gomer, Meshach, Tubal, the Eastern Caspian Sea, Muscovites, and all of those guys. They went up there. That's Japheth, and then Ham went down south, and I guess that turned into the Negroid race or the blacks. The name Ham or Cush means black, and and they went to Ethiopia, Egypt, that way, and got into the sun. And Shem and the fellows stayed in the Mid East, and that's where Shem is the name. Shem is the one that was loved by God, and that's where the Shemites come from. That would be Israel, and wherever you can trace your descendants back to, if you ever do that 23andMe, which I'll never do. That's just a scam to get your DNA on file somewhere. So, you know,
It was just always my understanding that the Canaanites were all killed during the flood. That's kind of like what the flood was to kill all the evil, all the bad blood off the planet. No.
Yes, what the flood did, and Shem, Ham, and Japheth, came out of the flood, and they repopulated the earth. And
yeah, but they're all descendants of Seth, right? Isn't Noah in the line of Seth?
Yes.
Right. So they're all descendants of Seth then. I guess you could say all the modern, and that most of the Canaanites were probably killed during the flood. They were probably the rebellious people that didn't obey God's laws.
Yeah.
And mocked Noah for building an ark.
Right. So
they didn't believe in the same God.
God only chooses a very small portion from a family. Everybody's not chosen. So Shem was, Ham wasn't, Japheth wasn't. Mm-hmm. So their offsprings were not chosen. At least, right. So when you look at Genesis 5, you see that Adam had Cain and Abel, and Cain killed Abel, and then Abel was replaced by Shem. Well, Adam had thousands of other kids probably, but God only talks about the one that he chose.
Right.
So the line, the chosen line is the ones that God talk about in Genesis 5 and 11 and Chronicles and Matthew and Luke. So he talks about his chosen people.
Yeah, and after the flood, it went down through Shem.
Yeah.
But everybody that came out of the ark the whole world was saved. in essence, when you talk about synecdoche, you talk about a part being the whole world got into the ark. The whole world was saved, but the rest of it died.
Yeah, well, it's clear that God does call certain people. Abraham is called from his tribe to go start a nation, right? So the people who are called who are called by God, as Kamal just said, God chooses certain people of a portion of a family to move his salvation plan forward.
Yeah.
And very few also. I don't see where 2 or 3 people get chosen out of a family. He chose one, and then Adam had many, many kids after that. Seth had many, many kids after that.
Yeah.
Hallelujah, all of them, they all had kids and children, but God only talked about one of each of those families, which to me says that that was the generation that he had chosen, he called, and not everybody in the family. And that helped me understand why, my brother can't hear me and my sisters don't hear me. And that really helped me out because I wondered for years and years and years what happened? How come they don't understand? They want to pretend and fake. But it when I seen how each one of those chosen individuals had many, many kids, they lived many, many years afterwards and had, I mean, God was populating the earth at that time. So they all had a lot of children, but God only speaks about one in each one of those families.
Mhm.
Yeah, but I mean,
Other generations.
they do say about how, Noah entered the ark and his three sons and his three sons' wives. Now, we don't, the scripture really don't say a lot of what the wives' backgrounds were. So, I don't know if they were marrying their daughters at the time, back then, which could have been because a lot of times they did,
Mhm.
but, you know, to your question, Steve, which is what I'm thinking. It really don't say, where the wives' backgrounds were. So, they could have been, just like us. They could have been somebody who, that we were lost, and the Lord drew them into a holy family of Noah's, and that's where they were. But we really don't know, what their back. We know, the sons came from Noah, but I mean, even, even later on, I mean, there was still, sin in the world. So, the corruption was still there regardless to go forward,
Yeah.
even though he destroyed the earth. He said he's going to destroy it again, but this time not with water, but because it's still going to be corrupt. So that would be my take on it.
Obviously, one of the daughters was a daughters of men.
I
Somebody,
mean,
somebody wasn't from.
that could have very well been. It could have been all three of them for all we know. You
Mhm.
know, because like Jim preached about, the sons of God marrying the daughters of men. And they could have been daughters of men that were, drawn into, a holy family, but that, you see David and a lot of them ended up with corrupt children, down the line, even so that just because of one or two sins that happened, so
Yeah.
but that's the way God planned it too. So
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. One son is saved. The other one, who knows what he's. But the line goes through certain people, and
Right.
that's
It was very clear that prior to the flood, that there were people who decisively chose not to support Noah and ridiculed what he was doing. And so it's very clear that the only people that would have been drawn to him, his sons and his family, were the people that believed in what he was doing, that understood what he was doing.
yeah. The
They're
people.
called to be saved. I mean, what would have stopped one of his sons from saying, "Salute, I'm taking off," you know,
God.
or even a wife for that matter. It could have happened, but it's clear that there was a choosing there.
Yeah. God
yeah.
chose them to be in the ark.
I mean, it's like when you go to see, before God destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah, he told Lot to flee with his family, but his wife, who you'd think, was along with him, she, decided to look back when she wasn't supposed to, and God killed her for that, and it's, you really. You have that scene going time and time again through scripture, and it still plays out today. So
Hmm.
He had another purpose for her. He turned her into a pillar of salt.
Yeah. Well, we don't.
yeah,
Is
he
that
killed her.
All right. Well,
yeah,
we're,
yeah.
yeah.
You know that
We're in the
yeah,
salt
it's
flat.
funny you Yeah, it's funny you say that because people talk about somebody being a pillar of salt nowadays. They talk it in a good connotation, saying they're like a leader or somebody like that. But when you look back at her, it turned her into pillar of salt, and it's a different connotation. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Well, obviously her thoughts were still what was behind her, so that's why she looked back.
Yeah.
She was not prepared to move forward with the rest of them. She was not prepared for that life, so God took her.
Well, there's scripture that does say, any of us look back after God brought us out of it, we're not worthy of the kingdom.
Mm.
Yep.
Amen. Okay.
We're not, we're still going to bear the marks of our youth, and that's not going to go away. And that's something we'll carry. But we have the inner man of Christ in us. Who, can't sin. So that's our hope of glory, because He writes, His laws on the table of our hearts, and we're still gonna sin and be sinners. But that's we have another hope. We have another, like a city to look forward to that we really can't imagine right now. So, that's our hope going forward.
Mm. Amen.
Sure is.
So what were we going to study, John? You had something prepared?
Not so much prepared as as I want it to be, but that's the same every week. I really don't. Chiron, Cheiron, Chiron. So I'm just looking up this one word here. Cheiron, Cheiron. Let me see if there's another one here. Hold on. Cheiro. That's G. Looking up Chiron, Cheiron, but it looks like Omega N, not Omicron. And Cheirog. It goes from Cheirog to Cheirop. So there's no N there, but this one here is Cheiron, and it means more evil or aggravated, and that's not what I'm looking for. All right. Anyway, we get back to Sagittarius. Get back to the gospel in the stars here. We're moving up to. Let me see which one I got here. That's the shot. Let's open up another one. Start something fresh over here. And because I was distracted today too, but that's okay. So, like I said, we don't have to go through all these verses that we went through already, proving that the gospel is in the stars. We know Psalms 19 and 1 through 7. The heavens declare the glory of God. Let's just look at it real quick here. For those of us who aren't familiar with it. Psalm 19, 1 through 6 here. All right. The heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament showeth his handiwork.
John, you're not sharing your screen.
Am I sharing? No.
No.
I thought I was. Hold on a second. Share screen. I am sharing. Am I sharing my screen with you guys?
No.
You were earlier, John, but something happened.
Okay. Let's try it again.
When we started talking, somehow. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Oh, it's back. Okay.
There you go.
Yeah, it was on. Sorry. Who's that, Diane?
Yeah.
Yes. Uh-huh.
Okay. Heads up. Good. I'm glad you guys finished supper.
Mm-hmm. Thank
Say
you.
hello to Tracy. Tracy's here.
Hey, Tracy. Hey, everybody.
Okay.
Hi, Diane.
Hi, Diane.
Hi.
Yeah.
Hi, James.
He's in the shower.
Finish out. I could have told you. I was going to say that before you.
I'll let him know.
The heavens declare the glory of God. The firmament showeth his handiwork. Day unto day uttereth speech. We broke all of these words down. Night unto night showeth his handiwork. So in the daytime you got the sun, and in the nighttime you got the stars.
Excuse me,
There is
John.
Excuse
I'm
me.
sorry. I'm sorry to bother you. You said Cheiron.
Yeah.
It has to do with evil. It's the Greek number 5337.
Yeah. I was looking at it right here.
Oh, I didn't know you found it. I'm sorry.
Yeah. And I said it's not the one I'm looking for
Oh,
because they use this carry on. Well, it could be the evil one, but the Greeks call it carry on. It has to do with Sagittarius, and they call him the executor or the chief centaur, whom they described as the righteous dealing centaur. So I don't see any righteous dealing centaur in this particular word here. That's why I was wondering if there was a Cheir omega n, and there isn't. So it's it's Chiron or but that's the Greeks call the Sagittarius Chiron or Chiron, but it is the centaur, and it's another centaur because we already looked at the centaur in one of the other zodiac signs there. So there is no speech or language where their voice is not heard, and we talked about that being universal from the beginning. Every star has a name, and it's the same name in every language, whether it's China or Mexico. It's universal. All the star names and their meanings are universal, and their lines go on out through all the earth, and their words to the end of the earth. And the word is the gospel, and in them he had set a tabernacle for the sun, and that's the ecliptic, and that's where they go through. And you're talking about the bridegroom coming out of his chamber. The chamber is where he goes in the elliptical, and he rejoices as a strong man to run a race. And every strong man you see in the stars, Hercules, the centaurs, the Orions, they're all Christ. They're all pictures of Christ. He's the bridegroom coming out of his chambers, and his going forth is from the end of heaven and his circuit to the ends of the earth, and there is nothing hid from the heat thereof. And we know when it says the heavens declare the glory of God, we know what the glory of God is. We went through verse after verse after verse talking about who the glory of God is, and that's Christ. Christ is the glory of God. So the heavens declare Christ. And it declares the gospel, and as simple as that. That's one verse, one sign that we know. And then we go to like the oldest book in the Bible, probably the oldest book on earth, Job, and he's got verse after verse after verse talking about the stars and the constellations and Mazzaroth. We get the word Mazzaroth from Job. All right, can you bring forth Mazzaroth in his season? What's Mazzaroth? Mazzaroth is the 12 signs of the zodiac and their 36 constellations, and it comes from this word Nazar. That's when you're talking about a Nazarite, or you're talking about somebody who takes a vow. You're talking about somebody who's separated, somebody who's consecrated, dedicated, and something that's dedicated. We know about that has to die and all that stuff. So can you guide Arcturus in his season? That's Aish, and that's the constellation. That's the great bear. That's Ursa Minor. How did he know about this? How did Job know about this? Somebody told Job about it. Who told him? And we tried to trace back Job to where he was in the generations in the Chronicles and all that stuff. And some people say he's this Jobab back there, and he was before the time of Abraham. And he taught Abraham, and who did Abraham teach? Abraham taught the Babylonians, and he taught the Egyptians. So the gospel in the stars was preached throughout the known world back then. and Job knew it, one of the oldest guys on the planet. But you have these pictures of Adam, Seth, Enosh, and Cain, and all of these guys just hanging out. Because, like I said, Adam lived for hundreds of years, and he knew all of these guys all the way down to Lamech. Adam knew Lamech. So when Lamech was born, Adam was an old man, and I'm sure Adam told Lamech about the gospel of the stars. And somewhere between Lamech and his son, Adam died. So I got the date down here somewhere, but I'm not going to go crazy looking for it. But Adam knew all of these guys. He knew Seth and Enos and Canaan and Mahalalel and Methuselah, and he spoke with them, and they're all hanging out. And I'm sure they were laying down on some grassy field somewhere, looking up at the stars, and Adam's pointing, and Seth's looking, and Seth's teaching, and he's pointing. They're all teaching each other the gospel and the stars, and that's what God taught them, and He told them about this, all of the different constellations, and his other signs here. Let me see if I can get a cross reference on this. It'll give you some stuff here. There's 2 Kings 23 and 5. It has another sense of what the Mazzaroth. In 2 Kings 23:5, and he put down the idolatrous priests whom the kings of Judah had ordained to burn incense in the high places in the cities of Judah and the places round about Jerusalem. Them also that burned incense unto Baal, to the sun, to the moon, to the planets, and all the hosts of heaven. So these guys were doing what they would admonish not to do in Deuteronomy, which was, when you look up and you see the sun, the moon, and the stars, you will worship them. You're not supposed to worship them. You're supposed to worship me. I created them, and I'm the one that you're supposed to worship. And they didn't. And they burned incense to Baal. And the planets, and the word planet is Mazalah. It comes from that Mazzaroth. And it's talking about the constellations. So that's what you looked up, and you saw the planets. You saw the Mazalah, you saw the constellations, and you started worshiping them. From Nazal, means the flood, the stream, the flow. And then also in Job, he talks about Arcturus. We saw Arcturus, that's Aish, and Orion is Kisel, which actually means the foolish one. There it is, Kisel, it means fool or foolish. And then Arcturus, Orion, and Pleiades. Where these guys get these words from? Kima is the word for Pleiades, or the 7 stars. It's the constellation, and it means tablets, something that's a tablet. All right, and there's so many. There's another one in Amos. What was it, Amos 8 or Amos 5 or something like this? I don't know. It was Amos 8 or Amos 5. Let's try 8 and 5. See what happens. Saying, when will the new moon be? I don't think that's it. Whoops. 5 and 8. We'll look at that. Yeah. There we go. Seek him that maketh the 7 stars in Orion, and turneth the shadow of death into the morning, and maketh day dark with night, that calleth for the waters of the sea, and poureth them out upon the face of the earth. Right away, my head is going to Aquarius when I read that. Poureth out the waters, calleth forth the waters of the sea, and poureth them out on the face of the earth. The Lord is his name. So you got the 7 stars. Another word for 7 stars is the Kima, the Pleiades, and of course Orion is Kisel. And there's plenty of other verses where we know that these guys knew about the constellations and the stars, and they had all names. They all had their names. And we went through. We start with Virgo. Most people in the civil year will start with. Well, you could say also the liturgical year too, because when God told Moses, this will be the first month for you. This will be the beginning of months, and that's Nisan or Abib, whatever. That's Aries. So that's where a lot of people start the so-called zodiac from. The first one is Aries, but we start with Virgo, which seems to make sense because that's the beginning, and we know Virgo is the first prophecy in the Bible about the coming of Messiah, that we're all looking for. Genesis 3:15. He's talking to the serpent, and he says, I'll put enmity between thee and the woman, between thy seed and her seed. It shall bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise his heel. And when you look up at the first line in the zodiac, you see the virgin. The picture's not there. We put the pictures there, but the stars are there. You have the seed, which is the name of the seed is Zerah, and that's a configuration of one of the names that's up in there in the so-called constellation of Virgo. And the other one is the corn of wheat is the Samek, I think it is. It's not here. What was the name of that? I can't think of it right now. Hold on a second. Johnny's gonna look back here. Here. 3:15. Sema. Here we go. Zara, and where's the other one? Well, that's sperma. That's the one. That's one of the Greek sperma. That's the seed. But where is the scatter seed? The sows the scatter seed. Let me turn this back. Hold on a second. Right, which I'm not going to stop until I get that word. And wouldn't you know it? I don't have it here. All right, we're going to skip that. But the branch. I'm sorry. Here we go. Why didn't somebody say it? The branch. B-R-A-N-C-H. That's what I was looking for. So she has the seed in one hand and the branch in the other. And there's a couple of different words for branch, but the one we're looking for is this 6780. Here we go. 6780. Boom. 6780. And this is Samek. So that's one of the stars too. So you got the Zerah and the Samek. Those are the two stars up there. And somehow somebody drew a picture of a virgin and they put the Zerah in the one hand and the Samek in the other hand. So that's where we get the seed and the branch from. And all of these verses talking about the branch coming forth, and that's Christ. We know that's Christ. And there's all these verses here have to do with that. And let me see. Behold, the days come, saith the Lord. I will raise unto David a righteous branch, and the king shall reign and prosper, and shall execute judgment and justice in the earth. Jeremiah 23:5, or Jeremiah 33:15 talks about the branch, a seed of David. And that's Virgo. We talked about the seed as being singular, not many. And a lot of times in Genesis, it talk about Abraham saying that your seed will be as the stars in the sky and the sand on the sea. And in some of the verses, it's talking about the amount or the multitude of it. But in this particular verse, it's talking about the singularity of the seed in Genesis 15. And he said, and Abraham said, behold, to me thou hast given no seed, and lo, one born in mine house is mine heir. Talking about Eliezer. Behold, that wasn't Eliezer. What's he talking about? Okay. And behold, the word of the Lord came with him, saying, this shall not be thine heir, but he that shall come forth out of thine own bowels shall be thine heir. And he brought him forth abroad, and he said, look now towards heaven and tell the stars. And you see that word tell is talking about taking a census. And you'll see that in one of the Psalms here. What did I do? I just lost it here. And tell. 5608. 5608. Tell the stars. if you'll be able to number them. How come they put tell here and number here? It's the same word. Look at and safar, the stars. Scribe, to recount, relate. It's like taking a census or a numeration. But then, in another sense, when it says that God named all the stars, He gave them all their name. Let me go. Well, we know the heavens declare. That's Psalms 19:1. The word declare is safar. But there's another one here, Psalms 40. They were all numbered. It might be 147. Hold on a second. 147. It's not. Here we go. No. 147. I hope it's 147. Where he says God numbered them. Yeah. And He telleth, it's 147 and 4. What's that word? Telleth. Okay. Mana. The number of the stars. Mispah. And it's part of this. That's why it didn't show up. So this mispah is the number or to tell, and it comes from safar, which means to recount or to enumerate. So God named all the stars. He gave them all their names. And it's another one in Psalms 83 talking about that. But this particular numbering has to do with one seed, not many. And that's in, let's finish reading this. Look toward heaven, tell the stars if thou be able to number them. And he says, so shall thy seed be. And you will look in Galatians. I'm hoping it's Galatians 3 and 16. Rings a bell. Yeah. Now to Abraham and his seed, well, the promise is made. He says, not to seeds, plural, as of many, but as of one, and to thy seed, which is Christ. So the gospel was preached to Abraham back here in Genesis 15. And also when he says in Genesis 17 to circumcise all the people in your household, even the strangers, I wonder who they are. Those are Gentiles. So the Gentiles were given the gospel back in Genesis 17. So we were told, and that's the secret that was held secret from the promise that was held secret from the beginning of the world, that the Gentiles were already given the gospel by Abraham. so that's a little bit on Virgo, and I don't know if I want to go through all of these because it takes a whole time to get through all of them. But we know the gospel's in the stars, and we know that we start with Virgo, and we move on, and then we got up to let me get the Rexstone down here. Virgo, and then Libra. That's the scales. That's the pair of balances, and let me see there. Hold on a second. And also, Libra has to do with the cross. That's over which the centaur is advancing, and that's the southern cross. And we showed pictures of the centaur with underneath between his legs is the southern cross, and the victim of the centaur slain, pierced to death, and also in Libra. You have the main constellation, and you have the three so-called decans for each one. So there's 12 constellations, and there's 36 decans, which makes up a total of 48 so-called constellations. And then you have the crown, the victim of the centaur slain, and then you have the crown, which is the serpent aims to take, which is the northern star. And then Scorpio is the third sign we looked at, and that's the serpent struggling with Ophiuchus. And we looked at that last week and we found out that Ophicurus, and I thought that was amazing. That all the times I was reading about that, and I never put that word together. I'm going to put it together for you right now. When you look at this sign in the books that are recommended, and if you don't have the recommended reading list, I'll let you know. But this word here, Ophicurus, Ophiuchus. So it's Ophiuchus, actually, Ophiuchus, and it's a combination of two words, which I didn't know. I was just looking at the guy's name, as being Epicius, just what they called him. But when you put the two together, it's 0660, and come on now, 0270. 0270. All right, and it's talking about catching the viper, and that's what this guy's name is. His name is Ophiuchus, and he has his hands wrapped around the serpent, and he's also got his foot crushing. Was that him or the other one? No, anyway, let's just hold on to the hands. It's called Epha. Okay, so that's where you get the beginning of the name, Epha, and Akaz. So that's his name, Ophiuchus, and it's called catching the viper, or the one who catches the viper, and that's where we get the name Ophiuchus from. I just found that out last week, and it's amazing how this stuff comes to you. And then we moved on to Scorpio. We're on Scorpio now. The serpent struggling with Ophiuchus, and Ophiuchus wrestles with the serpent, and he's stung in the heel by the Scorpio, which is the main constellation of this. And Ophiuchus is one of the decans. The serpent is one of the decans, and also Hercules is also another decan in this. So all of these guys are pictures of Christ. Both of them, you'll have two pictures of Christ in one constellation. But he's got his hands wrestling with the serpent. He's stung in one heel by the scorpion, and if you look at the picture in the stars, you'll see that he's getting stung with his heel is up in the air, and then with the other one, he is crushing it with his other heel. And the main star in Scorpio is called Antares, and it's a big red star, and most people mistake it for Mars. They think, oh look, there's Mars, a big red planet. No, it's a red star. It's Antares, and it's the biggest star in Scorpio, and it's actually where the foot of Ophiuchus is crushing down on that, and he's also getting stung in the heel. And then you got Hercules is another decan, and he's also wounded in the heel, but the other foot is over the dragon's head. He's holding it in one hand, something about golden apples, and then a three-headed, what's his name? Three-headed dog of hell, they call it. I forget there's another name for it. And then he also has a big club in his hand. So these are the pictures that they made up. And the names of the stars, we can't go through all the names of the stars right now. But that's Scorpio. And then Sagittarius is what we're going to be looking at this week, and that's the archer, man. And he's his arrow is pointing right at Scorpio in the previous one that we just looked at. I think I got a picture of this somewhere. Well, this is Sagittarius. It doesn't give you a picture of Scorpio, but if you look like right over here in this area would be Scorpio, and this arrow, he's pointing, shooting the arrow, and it's pointing right at Scorpio. And it's amazing the way these people came up with these things. But and you could almost see that in there. And sometimes, and you look at this this teapot here, which is this section right here, and his arm and his hand are going down here. This section here, that's what this little teapot is. And they say if you look through the top of the teapot, you see this Milky Way here. That is a straight line from through the teapot is to the center of the Milky Way galaxy. So if you ever want to know where the center of the Milky Way galaxy is, if you ever look it up and you see the teapot, you look straight through the teapot, and that's the center of our Milky Way galaxy. Just a bit of information there. Some of the pictures these guys drew are ridiculous, but you try and picture this. I want to see some real pictures of the stars, and it's kind of hard to get a real good rendering. This one looks pretty good here. Yeah, there's the teapot, and then right here is the tail of the scorpion. The scorpion really does look like a scorpion. You can see that. So here's the tail of the scorpion, and over here somewhere is his heart, and here's the arrow pointing straight at the scorpion right there. And you can picture these guys talking about it, and then we're going to move on to Capricorn and that stuff there. But and you have 3 decans in here. But let's find out what the archer is really talking about here in the Gospel and the Stars. So we have a couple of words here. We got 7199. We'll start with that. So, and these are all up in the sky. The names Kisith, Toxotes in the Greek, and actually Sagittarius is the Latin for archer, but we're interested in the Greek and the Hebrew. Well, this one word archer here is hold on a second. Genesis 21:20, and God was with the lad, and he grew and dwelt in the wilderness and became an archer. And this word archer here is not, this is something else. This means rabbah, but this archer is a koshath. All right, and it comes from 7198, which is talking about a bow or an archer, and we'll put that up too. All right, so 7198. I do set my bow in the cloud. So that's kasheth. That's the word I was looking for. Kasheth. That's the bow. And then you got a bunch of verses here. You got 74 verses with the bow, but a couple that stand out. I had Genesis, let me see, Jeremiah 50:29. Let me see if this Genesis 49 is there first. Hold on a second. There it is. Let me go to the Genesis 49 and 23, I believe it is. Yeah, the archers have sorely grieved him and shot at him and hated him. Speaking of, I think he's speaking of Joseph here, but his bow abode in strength, and the arms of his hands were made strong by the hands of the mighty God of Jacob. From thence is the shepherd, the stone of Israel. I didn't get into the shepherd. What was that? The shepherd was in. Oh yeah, that's the Ophiuchus. He's also called the shepherd, and also the grim reaper. And we did a little. We spent a little time on that. The shepherd is also the grim reaper. He protects the flock with the spear, and he's got the sickle in the other hand, and he does the threshing with the other hand. Let me get a picture of it here. Hold on a second. That wasn't even in that thing. All right, we'll look at that. That was in Libra. Anyway, so I want to stay with Sagittarius here. But you jump around. You run into all of these things. They all kind of like mesh together. So these words here, the archers. I don't know. They got this Baal here. This 2671 is another word for archer or arrow. And 2686, it's Kets, Chets, and this is Katsats, and this is bands, archers, or cut off in the midst. I should put all these up here. Hold on a second. before I get too crazy. 2671. 2671. The archers. There we go. So that's the word for archer here, and for arrow is 2671, and it's ketz. But I want to go down to Jeremiah. I think it's 50 and 29. Here it is. All right. Call together the archers against Babylon, all ye that bend the bow, camp against it round about. Let none thereof escape. Recompense her according to her work, according to all that she had done. Do unto her, for she had been proud against the Lord, against the Holy One of Israel. And basically, the archer, his job in the constellations is to slay the dragon, the Babylon, the serpent, the devil. And let me get these words here. Altogether, the archers, 7228. So one more word for archer is Rob. There's only two of them in there. And that's Rabab, which means to shot or to shoot out. Let me put these up real quick. There's only 4 verses there. 7228. 7228. And what was the other one? Come on now. 2732. No, it must have been something else. Hold on a second. 73. I'm dyslexic again. 7232. That's the one. Here we got your archers have surely grieved him and shot at him and hated him. And then 18, Psalms 18:14. Yea, he sent out his arrows and scattered them, and he shot out lightnings and discomfited them. That's on my list here. Psalms 18:14. That's the archer who sends forth the arrow. And this one we read here. Job 16:13. His archers compass me round about. He cleaveth my reins asunder and does not spare. He poureth out my gall upon the ground. And Jeremiah 50:29. We read about the archers coming together and killing Babylon. Right? That's the 72:28 real quick on that one, because a lot of these verses will have multiple words. You'll have arrow, bow, archer, shoot, all in one verse, and it's interesting the way they do that. The way God does that. His word is amazing. So that's the 2671. This is the 7198. So those are the 2 words for the archer in this Sagittarius. And then you got he's the archer that goes forth. So he's going forth. And that is actually what the arrows shoot. And you can get this is an interesting word here for shoot out. 3384. 384 is Yara, which means to teach, and shoot, and the archers to throw, to cast, to pour. So this is what he's doing. He's shooting, and this is 4923. Why do I have that next to it? That's not in there. Hold on a second. Genesis 49 must be. I put it next to this for some reason. Is this word in here? 33. Shot. Okay, maybe no. That's not it either. Cast. 3384. I put that next to there for some reason. All right. So it's teach, actually. The word for shoot and teach is the same thing. Let me see. Teach mouth and teach what to do was the one here. Exodus 19:13. There shall not an hand touch it, but he shall surely be stoned or shot through. whether it be by beast or man. You shall not live when the trumpet sounded long. They shall come up to the mount and teach. Why they use the same word for shot and teach, I don't know. But and the Lord said unto Moses, come up to me in the mount and be there, and I will give thee tables of stone and a law and the commandments which I have written, that thou mayest teach them. And he had put in his heart that he may teach, both he and Aholiab and Ahisamach of the tribe of Dan, teach the children of Israel the statutes, teach. And it goes on to say, we have shot at them. So we taught them, we teach them, we shot them. And let me see here. I will shoot 1 Samuel 20:20. I will shoot the arrows on the side thereof as I shot at a mark. So this is Jonathan and David. When David was worried about Saul trying to kill him, and Jonathan said, I'll go out to the field and I'll shoot my arrows. And if I'll tell my boy to go find him, and if I yell to the boy, the arrows are beyond thee, that means one thing. If I say the arrows are in front of you, that means another thing. So whether or not Saul was going to kill him or not, he already knew Saul was out to kill him anyway. So he's going to shoot the arrows. He's going to shoot the kets, the arrows. And then eventually he told the lad to run, and he said, the arrows are beyond you. And David knew what he was talking about. And shoot us some. Oh, there's another verse here I was looking at. I can't find it right now. There's 75 verses here with this word in it. And then you got 72:28. We looked at that. We looked at that. Gets. Psalms 45, 4 and 5. Let me look at that. Psalms 45. I got a bunch of verses written down. And I don't have any numbers next to them. So I'm just going to have to look at this and see if it's connected. It's all connected. 45, 4 and 5. Let's read down here. To the chief musician, my heart is inditing a good matter. I speak of the things which I have made touching the king. My tongue is the pen of a ready writer. Thou art fairer than the children of men. Grace is poured into thy lips. Therefore God hath blessed thee forever. Gird thy sword upon thy thigh, O most mighty, with the glory and thy majesty. And in thy majesty ride prosperously, because of truth and meekness and righteousness. And thy right hand shall teach thee terrible things. Thine arrows are sharp in the heart of the king's enemies, whereby the people fall under thee. And this could be like the springboard verse for Sagittarius here. I should have brought this out first, but I wanted to get this word here. There's a lot of good words in here. Ride. I see ride down there too. Ride, Rakab. That's one of the verses, one of the names for the star down here somewhere. I remember that. It rings a bell. Riding prosperity for truth, and righteousness, and shall teach. Thy right hand shall teach. Yara, teach, shoot, archers. The terrible things teach you what? Fear, Yare. And the fear of the Lord. What's the fear of the Lord? The beginning of wisdom. And that's the right hand doing that. That's the Yamim is teaching you. The right hand shall teach you the fear. And thine arrows, the kets, are sharp. Shanan, in the heart of the king's enemies. I wonder who that is. Right. And that's Psalm 45. And then you got Micah 5:2. Bring out some verses here where these star names are in there. Let's start at 1, see what happens here. Now gather thyself in troops, O daughter of troops. He hath laid siege against us. They shall smite the judge of Israel with a rod upon the cheek. But thou, Bethlehem Ephrathah, though thou be little among the thousands of Judah, yet out of thee shall come forth unto me that is to be ruler in Israel, whose going forth have been from old, from everlasting. So those are the pointed words we want to get to right there. The come forth, the yatsah. And that's what the arch is doing. He's coming out, he's coming forth. Who's going forth has been Motsah. And these are all connected. You see this 4163 is connected to the 3318, and we can break that down for you. So the 4163 is the feminine noun, and it's Motsah, Gerard house, or goings forth, or origin, a place of going out from, and it comes from the 4161, which is the masculine noun, and that's Motsah. It means to go out, to go forth, the place of going forth from. And again, guess where that comes from? It comes from the verb, the main one, which is usually what the star is named after the verb, and that's Yatsah. That's the verb. So they're all connected. Going forth, Yatsah, Matzah, Motsah. 51. And then you got, we saw that already. We saw that Genesis 49. We saw that. Genesis. I got a question mark next to that, so I'm not even going to bring it out. Habakkuk 3, 9, and 11. It says Hebrew here, but I know it can't be Hebrew. Habakkuk 3, 9, 11. Take these out of here. Take that out of there. Thy bow was made quite naked, according to the oaths of the tribes, even thy words, Selah. Thou didst cleave the earth with rivers. The mountains saw, and they trembled. The overflowing of the water passed by. The deep uttered his voice and lifted up his hands on high. The sun and the moon stood still in their habitation, and the light of thine arrows, they went at the shining of thy glittering spear. That's Sagittarius right there. From thine arrows, the catch, the shining of thy glittering spear. Kanith. There was another word here I was looking at. Hold on a second. Oh, the bow. Yeah, thy bow, the kesheth. We looked at that, 7198 and 71. Yeah, we looked at this already. Let me go real quick. 7198. Yeah, that's the bow. Okay, yeah. All right. All right, and then we got Numbers 24:8. Numbers 24:8. Something to do with Balaam and Balak, huh? 24:8. It's probably his. Yeah, this is Balaam's. What he saw as a seer, and he was God's prophet. You know, as evil as he turned out to be, he was God's prophet, and God taught him a lesson. And Israelites killed him, so. And now his name is mud in the gospel. So God, he's speaking of Balaam is given a prophecy of Israel. God brought him forth out of Egypt. He has, as it were, the strength of an unicorn. He shall eat up the nations, his enemies, and he shall break their bones and pierce them through with his arrows. Through with his kets. Arrows. He couches, he lay down as a lion, as a great lion. Who shall stir him up? Blessed is he that blesseth thee, and cursed he that curses thee. So he's giving a prophecy here of what's going to happen, you know, to Israel in the future. And he was it's a tragic figure, you know. Balaam could have won either way, but he went the way God wanted him to go, and he was greedy. And we read about him in the New Testament and Judges. I mean, in Jude. He's in 2 Peter. He's also in Revelation when they talk about the Balaam and Balak and the committing fornication and idolatry connected with Jezebel and what's his name, Nicholas, the Nicolaitans. So he's all connected with the Nicolaitans and the doctrine of the Nicolaitans and what's the other one there? I can't think of it right now, but It's all connected, but it's a sad case. I mean, it takes up four chapters in Numbers, 22, 23, 24. And the 25th chapter tells exactly how Balak did teach Israel to go after idols and things sacrificed unto idols and to commit fornication. The two of them go together, the food and the sex. Balaam taught Balak, who taught Israel how to, to stumble. And that's why he was killed, and because of his greed. And he didn't start out that way, but God let him follow his own little heart there to his own destruction. So that's basically a quick story on Balaam there. And Numbers 24, we look at that. And then we'll go into some back there. First, shoot. 1 Samuel 20:36. I'm talking about some shooting here. First, and now we look at that already. That's David and the other guy. No. Let me look at, let's go into the New Testament here and see some bows in Revelation. And we'll get some words here that'll ring a bell. Revelation 6. And I saw when the Lamb opened one of the seals, and I heard, as it were, the noise of thunder, one of the four beasts, saying, "Come and see." And I saw, behold, a white horse. Who's on the white horse? And him that sat on him had a bow, and a crown was given unto him, and he went forth conquering and to conquer. And that's Jesus there. And he had a bow, and the word here for bow is taxon. It's one time in the Bible, in the New Testament, but it comes from this word tikto, 5088. If I can get this up here. Nope. All right, 5088. Tikto, which is what? Whoa, to bring forth. That's what the archer's doing. It's the archer shooting, and he's going forth. So it comes from the bow, which is taxon, and it comes from tikto, which is the verb, which means to bring forth, or to bear, to produce. Tikto, and she shall bring forth a son, and call his name Jesus. And all of these really have to do with Jesus here. I think all of these verses have to do with Jesus. Bring forth a son, that's Jesus. And then she brought forth the firstborn, that's Jesus. That's Matthew. Matthew's always all talking about Jesus. And then Luke, Mark doesn't even have it. So Luke is talking about Jesus. And then now, okay, there's Elizabeth bringing forth. And that's Jesus. Luke 2:11, for unto you is born this day in the city of David a Savior, which is called Christ, and he's the one that's going to come forth. Bring forth herbs, delivered a son when she was past age, talking about Sarah. Bringeth forth sin. And then in Revelation 12, 12:2, and she being with child cried, travailing in birth, and pained to be delivered. And we know this is talking about the church. We'll put it up here in context there. And there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon, having 7 heads and 10 horns and 7 crowns upon his head. And he's tailed to a third part of the stars from heaven. Those are his hell's angels, and did cast them to the earth. And the dragon stood before the woman, which was ready to be delivered, for to devour her child as soon as it was born. And she brought forth a man-child who was to rule all nations with a rod of iron. And the child was caught up unto God and his throne. And we know about the woman being led, and we got the 42 months and all of that good stuff in here. And then the dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil, which deceiveth the whole world. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. But that was just the beginning. Um, he hasn't gotten hit with the archer yet. That comes later. That's in I think it's in Matthew 6:1. Yeah, that's the. We'll get into the end of this. We'll get into the dragon, which is one of the decans here, and we'll get into the altar, which is another one. Just let me touch on that real quick. Matthew 25:41. Then shall I say unto them on the left hand, depart from me, you cursed, into everlasting fire, prepared for the devil and his angels. That's it. That's the third part of them there that were cast out. And you got a lot of different decans for this particular verse. You got the Ophiuchus, not the Ophiuchus, the other guy who's standing there with the where is it? Hold on a second. Which is the one that has the we were talking about it last week. The Grim Reaper. I think that was in Virgo, wasn't it? Yeah, the decan of the, no, it wasn't. The centaur. Oh, the boots. The shepherd. Yeah, that's the coming one. That was in the sign of the Virgo, the Virgin. One of the decans is boots, and he's the coming one, the shepherd, and he's also not only the shepherd, he's the Grim Reaper. And we looked at a bunch of verses having to do with that. I don't want to go backwards with this right now, but you can look at and see where he's talking about also being not only the I'm being drawn back to it, so I might as well go look at it here. He's Matthew 13:36. Just backing up because not everybody saw all this already, so we'll back it up a little bit just so you can get a picture of these decans and how they all mesh into one another. So I get confused when I'm talking about the different centaurs and who's the Hercules and who's the Orion, but they're all Jesus and they all have a different thing, and the different stars in each of the signs means something. But Jesus is the shepherd, and he's also the reaper, and then Jesus sent the multitude away, and went into the house, and his disciples came with him, saying, declare unto us the parable of the tares in the field. And he answered and said unto them, he that soweth the good seed is the Son of Man. The field is the world. The good seed are the children of the kingdom, but the tares are the children of the wicked one. The enemy that sowed them is the devil. The harvest is at the end of the world, and the reapers are the angels. As therefore the tares are gathered and burned in the fire, so shall it be in the end of the world. The Son of Man shall send forth his angels. They shall gather out of his kingdom all things that offend, and them which do iniquity, and shall cast them into a furnace of fire. And that's moving into another decan too. That's talking about this altar of fire that's in this Sagittarius. And there shall be wailing and gnashing of teeth. Then shall the righteous shine forth as the sun in the kingdom of their Father. Who hath ears to hear, let him hear. And then Revelation, but there was one in John that's coming to me. Hold on a second. Revelation 14. Let me look at this here. But there was one where it's talking about him being the shepherd, and then also in the same chapter, him being the reaper. So I want to get to that. I think that's in John. Another angel came out of the temple, Revelation 14:15, crying with a loud voice to him that sat on the cloud, thrust in thy sickle and reap, for the time is come for thee to reap, for the harvest of the earth is ripe. And he that sat on the cloud thrust in the sickle on the earth, and the earth was reaped. And it's the same time factor as all this. And another angel came out of the temple, which is heaven, also having a sharp sickle. And another angel came out from the altar, which had power over fire. And these are all amazing. The decans pop into my head. You know, the shepherd having the sharp sickle in one hand and the spear in the other hand, and the angel and the altar with the fire. We're going to look at that pretty soon if we get time tonight. The altar and the fire, which had power over fire, and cried with a loud cry to him that had the sharp sickle, saying, "Thrust in thy sharp sickle, and gather the clusters of the vine of the earth, for her grapes are fully ripe." So you got the mixture here of Virgo and Sagittarius, with all the different decans, but it's the same gospel. You know, it's the gospel in the stars. And then you got Revelation 19, 17. And I saw an angel standing in the sun, and he cried with a loud voice, saying to all the fowls that fly in the midst of the heaven, "Come and gather yourselves together unto the supper of the great God, that ye may eat the flesh of kings, and the flesh of captains, and the flesh of mighty men, the flesh of horses, and of them that sit on them, and the flesh of men, both free and bond, small and great." And I saw the beast. Where's this one here? Okay. "And the kings of the earth and their armies gathered together to make war against him that sat on the horse and against his army. And the beast was taken, and with him the false prophet that wrought miracles before him, with which he deceived them that received the mark of the beast, and them that worshipped his image." And you can look back in Revelation 13 and see that the beast and the mark of the beast and the image of the beast, and it's all in there. These both were cast alive into a lake of fire burning with brimstone, and the remnant was slain with the sword of him that sat upon the horse, which sword proceeded out of his mouth, and all the fowls were filled with the flesh. And it's telling me to go to Ezekiel, but I wonder where that one is in John. I think it's John 10. But let me look at John 10 real quick before we jump to Ezekiel. I believe it's John 10. And he's talking about being the shepherd, and yes, here we go. There you go. "Verily, verily, I say unto you, he that entereth not by the door," and who's the door? I'm the door. You got to come in by me. "He that entereth not by the door into the sheepfold, but climbeth up some other way, the same is a thief and a robber. But he that entereth in by the door, by me, is the shepherd of the sheep. To him the porter openeth, and the sheep hear his voice, and he calleth his own sheep by name, and leadeth them out. And when he putteth forth his own sheep, he goeth before them, and his sheep follow him, and they know his voice." And we talked about how you can have two shepherds with two different flocks. There could be 50, 60 sheep in each flock, and they could be passing by each other on a road, and these guys are shaking hands and hugging, going their separate ways, and the sheep are mingling with each other. So who's who? We don't know. But these guys will walk away from each other, and they'll make a sound, "Yo, hey, who, wow," whatever they're going to say, and all of the sheep will hear that shepherd's voice and follow him. Only those sheep, and the other sheep will go the other way. So each sheep hears its shepherd's voice, and they know the voice. So we know Jesus' voice. We follow him, and we know his voice. "A stranger will they not follow, but will flee from him, for they know not the voice of strangers. This parable spake Jesus unto them, but they understood not what these things were which he spake unto them. And Jesus said unto them again, Verily, verily, I say unto you, I am the door of the sheep. All that ever came before me are thieves and robbers, but the sheep did not hear them. Thank God. I am the door. By me, if any man enter him, he shall be saved, and shall go in and out and find pasture. The thief cometh not but for to steal and kill and to destroy. I am come that they might have life, and that they might have it more abundantly. Yeah, see, God wants you rich. I am the good shepherd, and the good shepherd giveth his life for the sheep, which he was going to do. That's the bruising. That's the bruising of the heel. You can bruise somebody's heel day and night, and all it's going to do is bruise them out. But when you crush the head, that's to death. So he's getting bruised in the heel, which is being put on the cross, and when he's resurrected, that's crushing. Eventually, we're going to crush the head of the devil. But he that is an hireling, and not the shepherd, whose own sheep are not, seeth the wolf come, and leaveth the sheep, and flee. And the wolf catch them, and scattereth the sheep. The hireling, because he is a hireling, careth not for the sheep. I am the good shepherd, and I know my sheep, and have known of mine, as the Father knoweth me. Even so know I the Father, and I lay down my life for my sheep. So there's a theme going on here. And other sheep I have, which are not of this fold, that's us. Them also I must bring in, and they shall hear my voice, and there shall be one fold and one shepherd. Now, where's the one here? I think it was in the same chapter, talking about the sickle. It must have been somewhere else, but that's just talking about the shepherd aspect of the decan, and then we also saw the sickle aspect of the decan, and it's the same decan, talking about that. So, what's this? Ezekiel 38. Let me get to this. See what happens here. Ezekiel 38. Starting in what, 17? And we'll see what happens in 17. Oh, thus saith the Lord God, art thou he of whom I have spoken in old time by my servants the prophets of Israel, which prophesied in those days many years that I would bring thee against them? And it shall come to pass at the same time when Gog shall come against the land of Israel, saith the Lord God, that my fury shall come up in my face, for in my jealousy and in the fire of my wrath have I spoken. Surely in that day there shall be a great shaking in the land of Israel. And this is a future thing, and it could be physical, but there's also a spiritual aspect to this too. So that the fishes of the sea and the fowl of heaven and the beasts of the field and all the creeping things that creep upon the earth and all the men that are upon the face of the earth shall shake at my presence, and the mountains shall be thrown down, and the steep places shall fall, and every wall shall fall to the ground. And I will call for a sword against him throughout all my mountains, saith the Lord God, and every man's sword shall be against his brother. And I will plead against him with pestilence and with blood, and will rain upon him and upon his bands and upon the many people that are with him, an overflowing rain and a great hailstone, fire and brimstone. Thus will I magnify myself and sanctify myself, and I will be known in the eyes of many nations, and they shall know that I am the Lord. Here's this other one here. So that was a little flashback to Virgo and the boots decan with the shepherd and the grim reaper all rolled into one. I get back to Sagittarius here. For those of you who didn't get that, and this is the shot, this is the arrows. We covered a lot of this already. I just want to see some of these words here. We looked at this. That's the Rabab, the shot, the archer shot on him. Yes. 45 and 1 we read. Genesis, yes, 21:20. We read that about the archer. Okay. Oh, this is going down into the next decan. Oh, actually, this is in the same decan. This is the names in the sign, and this particular name in the sign is one of the stars is Naim, Naim. It means the gracious or the delighted in. And we got Psalms 27 and 4. One thing I have desired of the Lord, that will I seek after, that I may dwell in the house of the Lord all the days of my life, to behold the beauty of the Lord and to inquire in his temple. And this is Noam, is the name of the star in the Hebrew, but it's Naim. Well, it could be Naim, Noam. And it comes from 5276. So this is the masculine noun: beauty, pleasant, pleasantness. And the verb is naim, and it means pleasant, sweet, beauty, delight. And then when you look, go a little further. What was the one I was looking at here? Hold on a second. 5278, 5276. I think it was 5280. Hold on a second. I should have wrote it down. 5280. Which is Naomi. Let me just look at her. Naomi. Naomi, I think. Naomi, yeah. Naomi, 5281. And that's by delight. She's the wife of Elimelech, the mother of Mahlon and Chilion, who were killed, and the mother-in-law of Ruth, who we know is goes through the down to Christ in the birth line. So it comes. This Naomi comes from the Noam, which comes from the Naam. And what's this verse here? What do we got here? Thou art fairer than the children of men. Grace is poured into thy lips. Therefore, God hath blessed thee forever. I think there's another word here. I'm looking at these names of the stars here. What is it? I think it's Chem. I don't see it. But there's gracious is Kanan, gracious mercy. That's one of the names down there, but I can't find it. But this, what she says, she says, don't call me Naomi anymore. Call me Mara. Call me bitter. Numbers. So Nushata is the going or the sending forth. And that's the shoot. That's Numbers 11 and 8. Numbers 11 and 8. You didn't look at any, really look at any of the verses in there. But you know it means beautiful, delighted in. And that's the name of the star. Numbers 11 and 8. But we looked at that 27 and 4. And all the people went about and gathered it and ground it in mills and beat it in water and baked it in pans and made cakes of it. And the taste of it was as the taste of fresh oil. Oh, shoot is about, here we go, shoot is the name. It went about 7751. Shoot. I wasn't saying shoot. It's to run to and fro, to go about 7751. Wow, look at the time. We're going to get to these other decans here. And all the people went about and gathered it. And gone through the land. 2 Chronicles 6 and 9. For the eyes of the Lord run to and fro throughout the whole earth, to show himself strong on the behalf of them whose heart is perfect toward him. Herein thou hast done foolishly, therefore from henceforth thou shalt have wars. Right? And Satan goes to and fro in Job. To and fro. The rowers. The inhabitants of Zidon were thy mariners, thy wise men on Tyrus that were in thee were thy pilots. Thy rowers have brought thee into great waters, the east wind has broken thee in the midst of the seas. I don't know how they get this to and fro, mariners, rowers. Going to and fro. So these people that go to and fro, I guess they translate it into mariners. And then talking and Daniel talking about us today, but oh Daniel, shut up the words and seal the book, even through the time of the end. Many shall run to and fro on United Airlines and American Airlines, and knowledge shall be increased. Yep, a lot of knowledge being increased, but not a lot of much the truth coming out of it. They shall run to and fro and seek the word of Lord and shall find it not. Shall not find it. Amos 8 and 12. Zechariah 4:10. For who has despised the day of small things? For they shall rejoice and see the plummet in the hand of Zerubbabel with those 7. What are the 7? They are the eyes of the Lord, which run to and fro throughout the whole earth. It's a little study on shoot for one about, and Nushata is the star, and I guess you get the shoot from that. Nushata. And then Ruth was talking about Nahum, pleasant. Ruth 1:20. We just looked at Naomi here, and I'm sure this is talking about her. Where am I? Get up there. Ruth 1:20. 20. That she said unto them, call me not Naomi, call me not pleasant or delightful, but call me Mary, because for the Almighty hath dealt very bitterly with me. And that's Mara, is bitterness, so her name was Mara, Mary, bitter. So we got that. And then Shaula means the dart, and that's Shalak, and that's 7973. 7973. Shalak. 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 Sword, weapon, dart, plant, weapon, missile, sprout. Shalak. I'm going to give him a shellacking. He's going to get hit with the shillelagh. Who knows? I don't know. I'm just making that up. Could be from that. Who knows? You get it? You taking a shellac from a sword or a weapon? This is a shellac. Means to send or to go, and that's what the archer is doing. He's going forth. And there's what? There's 8 verses with this thing with a weapon, darts. Over in 2 Chronicles, another weapon in Nehemiah. They which build it on a wall, and they that bear burdens with those that laid it, everyone with one of his hands wrought in the work, and with the other hand he held the weapon. And they were both. So neither I, nor my brethren, nor my servants, nor the men of the God which follow me, none of us put off our clothes, saving that everyone put them off for washing. So it's also putting off, and it also has to do with a weapon. So it's putting off the weapon. And let me see what this other word here is. Numbers 4:23. Put off. Pashat. Strip. Put off. No, that's different. Okay. All right. There's another word here. 7973 and 7971. 7971. Unless he put forth his hand. Okay, yeah, 790 verses. Let's look at all of those. Okay, ready? One at a time. Here we go. So you got a lot of words to look up there. A lot of verses. And 3381. We looked at that. That's the going forth. I got something else in the margin over here. Looks like Isaiah 66:19. I don't know if this has to do with putting forth, but I wrote it down here anyway. Isaiah 66:19. Let's see what star this is. 66, last one. 19. And I will set a sign among them, and I will send those that escape of them unto the nations, to Tarshish, Pul, and Lud, that draw the bow. Oh, it's the bow, to Tuval, Javan, and the isles far off, that have not heard my fame, neither have seen my glory, and they shall declare my glory among the Gentiles. And I'm sure we was looking at bow there. Draw the bow, yeah, 7198. Okay. I'm trying to move ahead here instead of going back. We read 6.2 about the bow. That's the tuxotes, the taxon, the tikto. We did that. First Samuel, John, we did that. Shoot, we did that. Shalak. Al-Waridi means to come forth. And a lot of these things just, saying what the author is doing. He's coming forth. And that's the 3381. We looked at that already. Nehemiah 4. We just looked at that. Okay, that's the dart. Okay, and then Rukbah. That's the ride. Okay, we saw that real quick before the riding. It's 7392. That's the rider. Hold on a second. 7392. Yes, they rode. Okay, they rode. We looked at this real quick. Rakab means to ride. That's one of the names of the stars. And I'm looking for a verse that has to do with this. Psalms 45. Psalms 45, which we read already. Yeah, okay. 45 and 4 and 5. And in thy majesty ride prosperously because of truth and meekness and rightness, and thy right hand shall teach. Now, that's why we were looking at it, because they had teach, but the ride was in there. I knew the ride. And in thy majesty ride, Rakab, prosperously, and because of truth and meekness and righteousness, and thy right hand shall teach thee fear. And thine arrows, there's the arrows again. Okay. So like I said, you run into some of these words in some of the multiple words in the same verse. The bowman, Jeremiah 4:29. We probably looked at this already, but we'll look at it again. Jeremiah 4:29. The whole city shall flee for the noise of the horsemen and bowmen. Oh no, we didn't look at it. They shall go into thickets and climb up upon the rocks, and every city shall forsaken, and not a man shall dwell therein. Horsemen and the bowmen. So that's 7198. That's the Kashet. And 7411. What's 7411? 7411. Beguiled. 7411. Ramak Kesheth. Oh, that's the name of the thing. It's Ramah Kesheth. So you got Ramah, deceive, beguile, to cast, shoot, hurl. And what's the other one? Kesheth. Wow, the bowman. So beguiled or thrown basically means thrown, beguiled, thrown, and Kashet. So that's the name of the star. Wow, they put those two words together. Something else I just ran into. All right, and then the rider is, we read that. That's Rakab. That's 1521. Let me just put this. Where's the ride here? 7392. We got it there. Hold on a second. 1521. Exodus 15:1. Then sang Moses and the children of Israel this song unto the Lord, and spake, saying, I will sing unto the Lord, for he hath triumphed gloriously. The horse and the rider hath he thrown into the sea. And then down to 21. 21. 2020. And Miriam answered, said, sing ye to the Lord, for he hath triumphed gloriously, and the horse and his rider hath he trode in the sea. Triumphed gloriously. Ga'ah. That looks familiar. Ga'ah. Ga'ah. So you got triumphed gloriously. You got two words there together. Triumphed gloriously. I thought I saw that somewhere. Yeah, it's down here. 1342 was in the first decan of the Eagle, which we're probably not going to get to today. So we're just doing the arch today, and maybe next week we'll get into the three decans, the Eagle, the Altar, and the Draco. So let me finish this up. 15:1. Al-Sadira, the gracious one who strives. They got Psalms 18:10, but I got a question mark over there for some reason. I probably didn't understand what it was talking about. Psalms 18. Where am I? 18 and 10. I was looking at something else in Psalms 18. And he rode, okay, upon a cherub and did fly. Yea, he did fly upon the wings of the wind. So there was something else I was looking at with this one that confused me. But this is the riding. This is the rakab. Oh, I like the way they put those two words together. What were they again? It's a Ramah Kesheth. 74:11. Let me write that down. 74:11. 74:11 and 71:98. 71:98. Ramah Keshet. I like the way they put these things together, you know? Ramah Keshet. Let me see. Daniel 6:14. We got some Aramaic here, I guess. Daniel 6. The king, when he heard these words, was so displeased with himself, set his heart on Daniel to deliver him, and he labored till the going down of the sun to deliver him. So the king didn't want to throw him in there, but he had no choice because of the decree. 6:14 is it's Aramaic. Yes, it's 77:12. I forget which ones aren't Aramaic. I think the first chapter is not Aramaic. Where is it? 70. There it is. He labored to labor. But this is Shedar. There's only one verse there. Look at that. Let me see this. Hold on a second. What is it connected to? Hold on a second. Where is it in the Hebrew? Shedar. Not found in the Hebrew. Oh, okay. It's Eshtadur, to revolt, to deliver him. So the king was looking to deliver out of that. And the gracious one, all right, he's the gracious one. Huh? The gracious one who strives. And I guess that would be the king trying to labor to save Daniel from what he was about to go through. The gracious one who strives, displeased with he set himself. 77:61. 70. Something go down to deliver him. These are all Aramaic. You got to see what they are in the Hebrew. Not sal, to deliver, but there's no Hebrew word for this, and it's participle. Okay, but there's a couple more verses here I want to look at. 33:84 we looked at. 09:26. We'll look at these real quick, and we'll wait for now for the study. Troubled, amazed. 9:26. Bahal, trouble, haste, disturb, alarm. Troubled at his presence. Ecclesiastes 7. Is that here? Ecclesiastes 7 and 9. A couple in Ecclesiastes. Be not rash with thy mouth. Okay. Be not hasty in thy spirit to be angry, for anger resteth in the bosom of fools. Bahal, trouble, haste. To make haste, to hasten. So that's the word hasty, and that's the Hebrew. We got terebellum, but I guess it's from Bahal. Terebellum, Bahala. Be disturbed, sudden terror, alarm. Bahala. God threatens terror, alarm, haste. All right. But that's one of the names of the stars, and to try and find a verse that has to do with this decan, you know, it just takes a little deciphering here. Burn a little frighted. I guess, you know, you got that archer pointing an arrow at you. You're going to be scared too, you know. Neither thy silver nor thy gold shall be able to deliver them in the day of the Lord's wrath, but the whole land shall be devoured by fire of his jealousy, for he shall make a speedy riddance of them, of all them that dwell in the land. That's 7 and 9. And I got this last word here. It's the Greek kroton, which means the purchaser, and it's also referring to libra, which means bought, and libra is the price paid. We know that's the balances, that's the scales. And we're not going to run back to that, but let me look at this word real quick. It's 3739. 3739. By. Yeah, this is the, has to do with the Libra decan of the scales. And it's telling us to look at Hosea 3:2. So I bought Kara. It's just name. I wonder what the name is in the Greek. So I bought her to me for 15 pieces of silver and for an omer of barley and a half a homer of barley. So that's. Let me look at this in the Septuagint, Hosea 3:2. I want to get the Greek word for this. Hosea 3:2. Any day now. Any day now. Hosea 3:2. All right. Hosea 3:2. And it's 37:39 here. So it's let misthuo, to let out for wages, to hire. That's not croton, the purchaser. 37. No, it's the wrong one. I'm looking at the wrong word. No, I'm not. To myself. 94. Algorion. That's money. Algorion. And Gomer. Gomor. That's Gomer. Krithon. Krithe is barley, and Nebel, we know that's wine. So I bought her into me for 15 pieces of silver and an omer of barley, and half a homer of barley. So this bought. Let me see something here. To buy in the Greek, that's 59, I believe, is agorazo, to redeem, to buy, to redeem. So that's 59. That's agorazo. It still doesn't say croton. I don't know where they get croton. Croton. Hold on a second. CRO. So it would be kappa. CROTON. A lot of catas in here. CRSTU. CRO. C. Ada. I. O. Nope, I don't see it here. It's not in the Greek Bible. CROTON.
Are you looking for bought?
Yeah, that's agorazo.
Well, I'm looking at a Septuagint version that's using the word, if I'm not mistaken, Greek 3409 mithrao, and they have it as to let out for hire or to hire instead of, the way it's for that verse.
Yeah, but I'm looking for croton because in one of the stars names is CROTON. CR. So there's no croton in the because it has to be a K. I don't know why they have C anyway. But I see that Mistrao here is to hire wages. So Kara, Karah. Let me see. So that's KAR. Maybe it's K. Maybe that's the one. KAR. They got CROTON, but the PQRST. KARA. Cardia. Come on, man. KARAH. I wrote it down here for some reason. KARAH, but it's not here. PQR. KARD. It goes right to D. Cardia. Kara. I don't know. We'll have to do some more research on this. Find out what this what this board is. Board 4376 Mikna. That's the Hebrew. Go down here. It's probably like you said, the Mistuo. But it's the Agorazo. Agora. The price. Time 5608 on a May. On the Omai, there's one time in the Bible, 5608, had them bought. 59, 59, 59, 59, it's all 59. I don't see anything else. I don't think anything close to K or Croton. I know Croton on the Hudson. Nope. Let me see. Buy. B-U-Y. Excuse me while I study here. Hold on a second. Buy. 7666 in the Hebrew. Shabar. I don't see that name anywhere in one of the stars. Shabar 7069. That's the Mikna, right? Yeah, no, that's Kana. All right. Let me get down to the. It's the same thing. Buy 59. So Agorazo. All right. So what's another synonym for that? Bought, purchase. Let me see. Purchase. 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 In the Hebrew. Purchase the field. That's the Mikna. Okay. This is Gaal. That's redeem. Nick, let's get down to some. This might be. Come on, baby. No, Perry Pale mine. Perry Pueo. Perry Pueo. Purchase. Pueo. Perry Pueo mine. All right, we'll have to look at it some other time. So we'll end it here. We thank God. And Brother Michael, if you can say a few words for us.
Yeah, Lord, we thank you once again for this evening, this time you brought us all together in your mind at this place and time, that we would continue to go forth as you move in us, because with you we live and breathe and have our being because of you. And we don't see our path clearly ahead, Lord, but you have it mapped out for each of us. Our days are numbered, our hairs of our head are numbered, and we bow to your will each and every day, knowing that all things are for good. And though we see things happening in our lives that don't look right and make us anxious and nervous about our future and what's going on in our lives, we can look to your word and to you to find comfort, that we can learn to rest in what you're doing for us as we look in our past of where we've come from, Lord. That you've taken us so many burdens away, Lord, but the burdens at our head can be just as heavy, Lord. And as your son Jesus carried a cross for us, we can do no less for him as we carry our cross each day and die to our will and seek to continue in the will you have for us, that we may truly have our Sabbath each day, the rest in what you're doing. We give you praise in Christ's name. Amen.
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 Amen. Amen. Amen. Whew. Well, thanks for hanging out and studying with me. That's
Thank you.
all we do here, study. You know, I read well. That's all I can do. I don't know anything. I know nothing. Everything I just said tonight, I forgot. Now, there's a few things I remember. I surprise myself sometimes with some of the verses I remember. I'm saying, "Wow, I guess it's ruthless repetition." You know, if you repeat something often enough, you'll remember it. And if we don't stay with this on a daily basis, we will forget it. So, you know, Jim talks about that. He said he saw somebody that left and came back 10 years later, and they said, "I remember nothing." Everything's gone. Oh, let me stop this recording here.